want to recreate what else yet to be created. Welcome back to the Michael McDonald Podcast, the only podcast that involves Michael McDonald and nothing else.
Do we want to talk about Michael McDonald?
If you want.
Let's talk
I
about
love
Michael
Michael McDonald.
Michael McDonald was, hold on, let me bring up his Wikipedia page. No,
I was just going to do that too.
Was a member
Michael McDonald fan wiki.
of the Doobie Brothers, but at some point he left, and also he has lent his voice to many other albums, such as Asia by Steely Dan, and many others. He also has some of his original music. The best song, of course, being "I Keep Forgetting." (Parentheses, we're not in love anymore. End parentheses.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Oi Podcast. My name is Max.
I'm Donnie.
I'm Lucas.
I'm the one who never says my name.
Meta.
Oh, dude, that's so funny. I love that.
Power up.
Anyway, what are we talking about? What are you talking about? What do you got in the chat?
I saw the Sonic movie.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, Sonic.
How many times did he floss?
Twice.
No, his teeth.
Wow.
Literally none. I think he's promoting having all your teeth. I think he wants children's teeth to rot, yes.
Did he use mint or cinnamon floss?
He literally said, I'm literally drinking soda and I'm not brushing my teeth afterwards.
Before bed.
This just in, Sega endorses gingivitis.
Yeah, the entire plot of the movie was Dr. Robotnik running around with a drill saying, I'm gonna...
Oh my god, Dr. Robotnik has a doctorate in dentistry. He's a dentist.
No, they called him Robotnik PhD. It was a great fall comeback to that.
Oh, yeah. So they did go with Robotnik and not Eggman?
DDS, sorry, that's what the joke.
Yeah, DDS.
No, yeah, they went with Robotnik because that's his actual name. They made jokes about him because he had little robots that look like eggs, and then
because they started out as Dr. Robotnik, and then to make it like more appealing to American dumb idiot audiences, they changed his name to Eggman in the Sonic canon,
which is silly.
Robotnik, but like they always call him Eggman because it's Eggman versus an actual full blown name is different. But anyways, it was a decent movie. I give it a solid 6 to 7 because that is very good considering it is a video game movie. So
which are not good normally.
Someone hasn't seen the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Did you guys
Goombas
see
look like kaijus?
Lucas? Did you see Detective Pikachu?
I did not.
Yeah,
I should have.
Because I was gonna wonder like how it stacked up to that one because people seem to really like Detective Pikachu. At least like younger audiences did.
Detective Pikachu was fun. It was like a fun sing-song. Like I shouldn't say sing-songy, but like it was a fun kids Pokemon movie. That there were some minor continuity issues in it that really kind of bothered me at the very end.
Yeah, no, in the entire Sonic movie, it was definitely one of those fucking, like, oh, we're gonna add a bunch of stuff that doesn't exist in the games just so we can have a structure for a movie. There's an owl mentor person that looks like an owl, and then
it like Kapori Gabora from Zelda?
They get ransacked by fucking people that look like Knuckles but aren't Knuckles. And those are the only two characters that look similar, and then it's just realistic owl person and then realistic robots. What else was there? I'm trying to think of what to say without spoiling it. I just thought it was good all around. The entire rings part was weird.
Did Sonic? Did he do all the single ladies by Beyonce?
Dude, I wish.
He fully sang.
Sonic puts on a pair of high heels and a black leotard and just starts doing that dance to get rings.
Joe Jonas shows up.
And Joe Jonas shows up. And that fat guy from that one YouTube video.
He fully sang Gangsta's Paradise and actually shot the old Sonic design with a 9mm
Coolio
pistol.
Wasn't even there.
He's the one that... He's the one that gunned down Scrappy Doo in Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah, after he peed on Daphne.
Yeah, there was actually a really weird scene in where he said, I support bump stocks.
And then Knuckles showed up at the end with a Ponzi scheme.
And he said, do you know the way? And he also got shot. He also got shot with a 9mm pistol.
By Sonic.
Was any other Sonic characters in that movie?
There was one other. It was like an end credit scene. I don't know if I want to spoil it.
But not in the main thing, like Tails
not
wasn't
in the
there.
main thing, yeah. No.
I didn't think
there
so
was
because it
some
wasn't in
guy
any
with
of them.
5 tails. It was really weird.
Actually, it was crazy. They actually did a reference to Christian for part. They didn't do a reference to Christian. They would never.
Sonichu was
publicly.
the enemy all along.
Yeah. He actually did get. They actually referenced the Tomar Emeralds. It was insane.
Is there any point where Jim Carrey wears a fursuit?
Yes.
Thank
The entire
God.
movie.
Okay, now I'll see it. Now I'm definitely gonna see it now.
Dude, it should have been like the movies with like Eddie Murphy and like Mike Myers.
Oh,
in the
yeah,
old,
when they play
where,
every character?
Yeah, Jim Carrey plays every character.
Sonic
Honestly,
him is
Jim
just
Carrey-
it's just a blue Grinch suit.
It was more or less an excuse for Jim Carrey to just go, look, I'm this old and I can still fucking move around like a goblin person and I have more life in me than most people my age. And
He's
honestly,
made of
I'm all
rubber.
for it. He is Stretch Armstrong. in
I saw a
another life.
review of it that said like Jim Carrey's character was so likable because you could tell Jim Carrey was just having fun with it.
But yeah, it was a decent, alright movie. It's definitely one of those movies that
It wasn't garbage.
It wasn't garbage.
That's
I'm
good.
really glad. I'm really glad I saw it with Emma because she and I were able to shitpost. I should explain that too. I have explained it to you guys I think before, at least Noah. But the entire time they would like, it was chock full of making references, and the entire time she and I would just kind of go back and go like, this exists in the Sonic universe. They were talking of. There's an entire scene where like Sonic was running around like so fast that it made an entire like power outage or something. And then there was like the U.S. government getting involved, saying like, "Was this a terrorist attack?" And then we just said like, "Al Qaeda exists in fucking Sonic." What other ones? He said Sonic said something like, "What year is it? Is The Rock president?" Like Dwayne The Rock Johnson, The Rock. And then I forget what I fucking said. Said like. There was a bunch of like that exists in the Sonic universe. Just
That's
whenever they would make a reference to like an actor or something, yeah, just terrorism exists in the Sonic universe. Fuck, there was one other that I'm trying to think of that was really funny. That was just like either just domestic terrorism or like police brutality or something that exists in the Sonic universe, and it was good. It's definitely one of those, if you're our age, you have to see it with someone you can talk shit about or see it with children. But it was nice. It was just nice all around. It was definitely made by people who gave a shit as opposed to
I'll see it when it's on Netflix or something.
No,
as opposed to
Max.
I'm gonna see a lizard person. It was also
No, Max. I'll come up to Boston next weekend. We'll go see it together.
It was also the first time I was able to sneak food into a movie theater, which is
What,
cool.
dude? You put it in your
What the fuck?
massively
You're
engorged
literally-
cock?
You're literally going to jail. No, Emma had a small tote bag and we crushed down some fucking chips and then we...
And they were all crushed, and we just had to drink them.
Yeah, and then I walked behind her so people weren't noticing that she had a fucking hunchback for part of walking there. But otherwise, it was all good. There was a wonderful sweetheart woman there where we were talking back and forth with her, and she offered to get us food. I think she was entirely aware we took food in, and honestly, it was good all around.
She had this weird vial of liquid that she poured on top of the popcorn before she handed it to us.
Yeah, she said...
She kept offering me an apple. She
was
said
really
something
weird. She was
about a
wearing a
prince. I don't
robe.
know.
She had a small green vial and poured it on it. And she said, "Vial going out," and then all the zombies from Left 4 Dead started going in that general direction. It was really odd.
And it was funny because she had the Zoidberg skin on.
Yeah, honestly. But
Wait,
anyways, yeah.
can I want somebody to dub the Left 4 Dead in Zoidberg's Zoidberg's voice? So it's like bile going out.
Go.
Well, you've seen the like, I had it at one point. I know Alex had it at one point where all the zombies were Zoidbergs and they just.
I remember
Yeah.
I remember we had all of our games super modded, like too much.
All of our characters were velociraptors.
Every single special infected had a skin to it. I remember I had the Charger be the demo man.
I liked Hank Hill.
He had a giant arm, and it would fucking do his like death scream anytime he'd come near.
Hank Hill as the tank, and then instead of throwing a boulder, he threw a propane tank. That was pretty good.
I had Big Smoke as the boomer.
Yeah, there's that one.
I know Donnie and I had our favorite when you shot your pistol.
I'm trying to remember what I had. 'Cause I had a
The
handful.
pistol shooting sound was Keemstar saying the N-word.
Oh yeah, I think I had it. Yeah,
But it was super quiet, so you couldn't hear it unless you were actually like
listening for it.
And then you went, "Oh no!"
Andy, remember when you had the Ben Swolo flashlight?
Oh,
You couldn't
yeah.
see
Oh my
shit
god,
with
you
it?
couldn't see anything.
Yeah, I've got a few. I've got
it was
the page
bad.
opened up.
Because it was like the image was rotated horizontally 90 degrees, so he was just sideways.
I had a Double D from Ed and Eddie as a smoker, and a hot dog as a jockey.
I remember I had that one.
Hitler Witch.
I think I had Sans as the tank.
Patrick was a hunter.
I had the Patrick Hunter.
There's also
one was
Diddy Kong as a
terrifying.
jockey. Sans as the tank.
Yeah.
The Sans tank was terrifying.
He's played Megalovania
Yeah.
on full blast.
horrifying.
Waluigi was the spitter.
Yeah.
I disabled
there
all
was-
of them, but the last time we played, so everything was disabled, but then as soon as we beat a level, I realized I still had Sweet Victory as the ending music.
That one's okay, though.
I had Hypno from Pokemon as a smoker at one point too.
I like having at least the character models be something funny. Like I always like having the Sonic characters there, the Velociraptors. It's always fun.
Sometimes I have the Dark Souls Knights as them it's the Left 4 Dead 2 no, it's the 1 characters, and then I think I have the Sonic ones on for the 2 characters.
It's a good game.
All right, I present to you guys a question.
Okay.
Would you rather look like
No.
Jar Jar Binks or talk like Jar Jar Binks?
Look,
No, you can't kill yourself.
No, you can't kill yourself.
Is neither an answer?
No,
No,
Okay,
you
both.
can't kill yourself.
Wait, is both an answer?
no. You
Oh,
have
what
to
the
choose
fuck?
one or
That's
the
not
other.
fair.
Yep.
I'd look.
here's the thing. If you sounded like Jar Jar Binks, you could just live the rest of your life as a mute and only talk to select people.
Mm-hmm.
If you looked
I would
like
look.
Jar Jar Binks, you can't do anything without
easily
looking
look.
like Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
So I'm going sound like Jar Jar Binks.
I think that's the right answer.
Hold
But
on
I
a
feel
second.
like if I ever spoke, I would just instantly have the urge to kill myself.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
No,
It's
but you
not-
can't.
Everything
I know,
you
that's the thing, Andy.
Everything you say will always like sound like you're trying to make a joke because every single one of his lines was half joking. So there could be a domestic terrorist and say, "Big man got the shooty" or something like coming in, and no one would take you seriously.
choo-choo.
Yeah,
What are you saying?
even if you look it, at least people might take you seriously. You could do something with the weird flaps and at least wear different clothes.
I know, but he's tall though.
Yeah.
He's like this, dude. If you
On the
looked like
plus
Jar
side,
Jar
you
Binks,
could live
just
underwater.
no. If you looked like Jar Jar Binks, just become an NBA player
Yeah.
because you'd be tall. You'd be
No,
tall as
because
hell.
he's fucking clumsy as shit.
Well, all the women on Twitter would want you.
That is no. Your question does not say you have the mannerisms of Jar Jar Binks. You just look like him.
Yeah.
Can you? Okay.
So I could learn to use
So-
that body and play basketball.
So you could be like, instead of Michael B. Jordan, you'd be Michael B. Jar Jar.
Yeah.
Michael.
Yes.
And then, but see, it sucks that you couldn't talk because yes, you'd be stupid because like since you can't talk like him, you'd get a slam dunk and you'd be like, Misa Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar Binks is
You know-
6'4".
I really
Wow,
want
it's
to
not
just
that tall.
only look like him because I really want to see a Jar Jar Binks model and goes, "Hey guys, it's me, Jar Jar Binks." Hi. Something just like it just wouldn't be funny, but it'd be
See,
so funny.
He's only
'cause of-
6'4".
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was taller than that.
I would totally
did
sound
too.
like him.
He's
I was
got
thinking
long
like
arms,
7. I was
Wait.
thinking like 7 feet tall.
That
and
could
that's
be
why I
my
said basketball.
opportunity.
It could be,
I could be tall for. I'd be taller than all of you for once.
but also you'd look like Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, but that can't be any less bad than how I look now. Come on.
though. If I was going sports, he's got like long arms and legs. I'd be a baseball pitcher, and I'd just be intimidating as fuck on the mound. But like
You'd be
not in the
so
like scary way.
lanky.
I'd just be standing up there as Jar Jar, and the batters wouldn't be able to hit because I'd look so fucking stupid. They'd be laughing their ass off.
Or you could be a goalie in soccer.
Oh, and I could use my like hair flap
Yeah.
gill
You
thingies.
got extra limbs. You got extra
Yeah.
limb control.
Yeah.
I'm still going sound. If this was a legitimate thing I needed to do, I'm going sound because I
And
yeah,
just wouldn't talk to many people.
I think I want to say that too. But now that we got like brought it into the sports realm, I think I could be a professional athlete as Jar
I
Jar
feel
Binks.
yeah, like you would look weird, but like people would get used to it.
Like I'd
No, I
become I'd see if I could become like
I just
an
wouldn't own
F1
any
driver.
mirrors.
Yeah. I just wouldn't have my blinds open, so I couldn't see my reflection through even the window alone.
There.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only reasonable course of action at that point.
What would be the first thing you do if tomorrow you woke up in I don't want to say Jar Jar Binks' body, but just
Jar Jar Binks' body.
just Jar Jar Binks' body. What would you do?
Well, first I'd attempt suicide and then realize I can't kill myself.
Because you're Jar Jar Binks and you're invincible and you're a Jedi.
Yeah.
Want to see how many black?
No, he's
I
a
can
Sith
do.
Lord. Come on, Max. There's
Oh,
no
yeah, he's a
difference.
Sith
Let's not
Lord.
mix
Sorry,
him
yeah.
up here.
Yeah,
Darth
he's not a Jedi. He's a
Binksius.
Sith Lord.
Don't you dare mix him in with Lego Yoda. God.
Why specifically Lego Yoda?
Well, because he's better than normal Yoda.
Better than Baby Yoda. I said it first. Because his name's not even Baby Yoda. He's fucking the child.
Yeah, it doesn't
Honestly,
have a name.
when
Also,
the-
real Yoda doesn't fucking smoke ketamine and run people over in his Honda Civic. So
What about the other guy that's the Yoda species that has the fucking yellow hair?
Oh.
Yaddy?
Yeah,
Yaddle?
Yaddle.
Yaddle.
It's a woman, yeah.
What if you woke up in Yaddle's body? How quickly would you kill? What would you kill yourself with?
no, I'd be so happy if I
I'd
woke
be-
up as Yaddle.
I'd be turned on.
That'd be sweet.
First thing you're doing is touching yourself.
Dude, instant hand in the wrinkle green vagina.
Oh no.
Dude, it looks like a fucking wet cabbage, you know.
Oh, stop.
Looks like fucking moss.
Good lord.
And that's the pubes.
Ah!
Moss
Why are you
on
making
top
it
of a
worse?
Big wet cabbage,
Looks
dude.
like goddamn cordyceps fungus.
So I was
Kinds
trying
that
to
go over ants.
transition out of this. Speaking of Baby Yoda,
Speaking of fungus,
so the Mandalorian, it was like shot like a TV show. Like it doesn't have the budget of a movie, right?
Well, it's a TV show, so yeah.
'Cause it's
I
TV
didn't
show.
want to
I
say
think it did have a huge budget because it's Disney.
because it's Star Wars.
Well, yeah,
Disney.
but
it's
you know,
not
it
like-
wasn't a
yeah.
Marvel budget. It wasn't a Star Wars budget. It was less.
Yeah.
For technically more hours of content. So, anyway, they used this really cool technology where they had LED screens around the actors that were the sets, so they could change out the floor piece for depending on what it was, and then it would seamlessly transition to be a set that's rendered in the Unreal Engine in real time, and the cameras were tracked. So as the cameras moved, the background would like look perfect in like perspective, and it would have to like change according to where the camera is. It's so freaking cool.
That's
So
pretty cool.
they were able to kind of put the actors in this space and have them, rather than just being on a green screen and doing it later, you could like kind of see what was going on. And then like when they played back on monitors and stuff, it's pretty much exactly what was going to end up being in the show, which is really, really cool.
Huh.
A
That
video
should-
came out about it today, and I saw something recently about this technology, but I'd never seen it used. But apparently, the Mandalorian used it, and it's really freaking cool.
The thing I think that's cool about that show is how many people Jon Favreau, like famous people Jon Favreau, got into it. Like Jason Sudeikis is one of the stormtroopers in it.
Is he really
Yeah,
interesting?
yeah.
I know,
and like Bill Burr.
Yeah, Bill Burr
Obviously,
was
he-
good
Bill
in it.
Burr.
Yeah, he was really good. Who else? Well, Pedro Pascal is the main character.
Yeah, he was really good.
I don't. I don't know if this is a spoiler. Is it?
I don't know. It
What?
depends what you're gonna say.
type it out.
That's technically a spoiler. All right, we done with the spoiler shit?
Yes.
I remember now what was referenced in the Sonic movie. There was one of those robots that came in and they said something about an Amazon package drone joke, and then I said Jeff Bezos exists in the Sonic universe.
But does
I just
Elon
need to
Musk?
say that.
Does Elon Musk dang a big titty goth GF?
Underpaid workers working in a capitalist society in fucking Amazon workshops exist in the Sonic universe.
All right, I got an issue with you
Continue
guys.
with what you were talking about.
Oh boy.
You have an issue with us?
Again.
Yeah.
Why?
So on the
What
episode,
did we ever do to you other
the
than
episode
call
that
you
I
names?
wasn't on,
Uh-huh.
the episode that I wasn't on,
Mm-hmm.
you talked about band T-shirts
Yeah.
and how people like wear band T-shirts sometimes and they don't even listen to the band.
Yeah.
And you didn't even fucking bring up the largest trait of my personality, which is the fact that I believe Sublime isn't a real band and it just exists in T-shirt form.
You
Yeah,
were
but-
there. If you were there, you would have brought it up. We're not gonna talk
Yeah,
about
but
stuff
I've
you
brought
know
it up
how
about.
so
dare you
many
have a life and go
times.
do things?
Imagine.
Dude, fuck me, right? No, I'm just saying, like, Sublime's not a real band.
I listened to Sublime.
No, you don't, Max. They have that one song called Date Rape, and that's all you know about them.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
You just know that they exist under the ska punk genre.
No, I don't really listen to Sublime. I know that they exist. Yeah. Honestly, I don't think I could name a single Sublime song, but I
Date Rape is the only one I can name.
I figured. But like, you think
But
they
genuinely-
purely exist to push T-shirts? That's it.
Oh, totally, dude. Have you seen the design on it?
It's like
No.
it's like TV shows back in like the 80s or whatever being made just so they could sell toys. They
Like
made the
Transformers?
band just so they could exactly like Transformers
Yeah.
and Teenage Mutant Turtles. They just made the band so they could make shirts to kids on fucking heroin.
Well, merch is that is where you make money at the concerts. But
Well,
like,
yes.
if you go to the concert and you get a T-shirt, then I think you have
Yes,
plenty
but-
of right to wear that T-shirt.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
totally.
no,
Even if you maybe don't like the band that much, but you liked the design, but you're at the concert, then it's merit.
No, like the only time I
I've
really
never
buy
seen that shirt
band
before.
T-shirts these days is because like I'm at the
Yeah,
show
I usually like.
and like I want to support the artists. Like even if I'm not super into them or like I don't know them that well, I'll still buy something. Like I did with the T Club. Over break, I bought a CD from them.
I usually like buying them when they're shirts that are specifically say like this tour or whatever.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
I
with
have-
like the dates on the back.
like
yeah,
like I
those.
have a Foo Fighters one from when they went on tour for fucking when Dave
Oh, the
Grohl
break
broke
your
his
leg
leg.
one, yeah.
and then I still have the other like King Gizzard one too. But like I could get those shirts, just other shirts normally, but it wouldn't be the same. Then it makes conversation. It's like, oh, the tour, and then they look in the back. Oh, neat.
Oh,
where'd you
the
get that?
penis.
I listened to
Oh,
some King
fucking
Gizzard
God.
stuff that wasn't into the Infest the Rat's Nest.
Oh,
And
what'd you listen to?
I don't really remember. But I don't like their other stuff.
That's fair.
Well,
All
like
of
I
the-
like it's. I'm not gonna.
No, no,
It's
I'm
not bad, but I'm not gonna go back and listen to it. That's how I feel.
The-
But
the
whereas
only
Infest the
other-
Rat's Nest, I've listened to that album many times.
The only other album I would say you would really like outside of Infest the Rat's Nest might be like Nonagon Infinity, just because of how it goes.
Nonagon's
But like,
a classic.
but like some of their stuff either is like soft or it's like has a whole narrative.
I just
to
really
it, or
like
it
their
uses, like,
their
more techno
their
stuff.
metal sound
Yeah,
in Infest the
They-
Rat's
'cause
Nest. Plus, it's an overarching story too, which is cool.
they did a thing like either last year or 2 years back where they released like 4 albums. Or like
I saw that,
5,
yeah.
Because and every single one they wanted to try and do something different. The microtonal banana one was like they used like microtonal beats or whatever it was. The Murder of the Universe was they had like 3 different stories that went on. What else was it? There was like Crumbling Castle or whatever it was, where it was like much more softer, and then like Gumboots. No, they did one like collab with one other band, and I really should know. I think it was
Big
Mild
fan.
High Club. You literally don't even know anything, so shut up. So they like I think it was with Mild High Club or something, and then Gumboot Soup was something else different too, where it's like kind of softer. But they've just been pumping stuff out surprisingly, and it still has been. I completely understand what you're saying about like not liking it when it's something different, because honestly, there are different bands every other time something comes
Yeah,
out. Like my
which
dad.
I think is awesome. It's just
Oh yeah.
none of the stuff I heard is stuff I'm gonna go back to. That's all. It's
Like,
not it's not
I'd
bad at
shown-
all. I thought it was really cool. It's just like I don't
Yeah,
know.
no,
reinvent
not
themselves,
your
yeah.
shtick. No, I get it. There's no offense taken. It's I showed them to my dad before. Like there was one time we were driving back from some like New Year's Eve party or whatever, and I was driving, and I figured I'll put on that, and there was the perfect distance home from the party to my house was the entire length of the Nonagon Infinity, and my dad listened to it, and he's listened ever since, and he was the one who suggested going to that concert over in Boston. It was neat.
Nice.
That's
So-
cool.
Yes. So yeah, but yeah, I got exactly what you're saying.
I've lost my ability to yip, and I'm sad about it.
You got the yips for yipping?
Yeah, I can't make my voice go insanely high anymore, and it upsets me.
Sorry, I just
It's
can't
the
be
yips,
funny
man.
anymore.
I mean, I can still go probably higher than a lot of people, but I can't do like my shrieks like I used to be able to.
As high as you
It's
want.
very saddening. Very saddening. Not sadding. Idiot. Fucking idiot mouse.
Dummy.
It's dummy.
Learn
Don't
English.
kill yourself.
Idiot
Honestly,
fucking.
shut up.
Ah!
So Andy, what's this Chevy SUV ad?
Oh my lord.
Oh my lord.
I think I said this. I think Lucas was there when I said this.
You might have elaborated. Though.
So it's one of the 20 ads that we play on Hulu.
20. That 20 is generous. It's more
Sorry.
like 10.
10.
No,
5.
the other
Okay,
no,
3.
The other 19 are Mike Bloomberg or Tom Steyer ads.
I don't
Yeah,
get political
yeah.
ads on Hulu.
You're lucky.
Well, yeah,
I get 'em on
not
YouTube.
anymore.
Oh.
Continue though. Sorry, I don't want to go on that tangent now.
It's like this guy names a bunch of adjectives about cars. Like he'll say like reliability, dependability, even though those are kind of the same, but you know. He's like storage space, parkability, whatever your options are for an SUV. And I'm always like, are you fucking parkability? Who the fuck buys an SUV for parkability?
God.
Those are like the
Yeah, no,
worst
you did
vehicles to
mention this.
park,
Isn't
and
that
it
what you
shows them
get-
like
Yeah,
parallel parking
that's
too.
what they're saying.
Isn't that what you get Campbell's chicken noodle soup for?
What do you say?
No,
Parkabilities.
Max, because they're saying no matter what your reasons are for choosing an SUV, but why would you choose an SUV for parkability?
Oh, I understand
They're
what you're saying.
awful.
Yes.
It's
Okay.
Yeah.
specifically for the fact that it's advertising.
You're not choosing an SUV for its ability to park.
More space means
It's
less parkability.
that-
That's a trade-off.
Being parkable would be a selling point, so that's why I was confused.
Yeah,
Because
but
if,
I'm
if an
like-
SUV is also easy to park, then that's basically like a Rav4.
Well,
Or
usually when you're buying an SUV, you're given that like trade-off of like I am aware I have much more space and room and everything,
Right.
but it's not going to be that easy. It'd be like someone buying a truck saying like I can carry a bunch of shit in it now, but I have to worry about the fact that I'm driving a truck.
like the people that buy the extended cab, extended bed Fords that
Super
take like 2
duty?
parking
Fuck
spots.
yeah, dude.
I makes
It's like
me
my
so
dad's truck.
Grandfather's got one
My
of
dad's truck
those.
it's a GMC, but it's the same thing. It's 8-foot bed and then a 6-person cab.
Oh, they're
It's huge.
so big.
Yeah, it's like
That's what my
it's like
grandfather
32
has.
feet long or something.
Like when my parents would come to pick me up from college, they'd take my grandfather's truck because it was a Ford F-350 Super Duty extended cab.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's the biggest freaking thing on the road.
My mom's car is also. It's like being in a city with that thing is the worst. Because it's
What did your mom get? I haven't seen her new car.
Didn't she get a Yukon? A new
yeah,
Yukon?
it's just a new Yukon.
Oh, okay.
And I
I
honestly,
still
I
haven't
was,
seen it.
Yukons are huge.
yeah, it's a new Yukon. 2016, I think.
I think it's a Yukon Denali, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
I
like
probably have seen it driving around town. I just didn't realize it.
I remember I saw it and I was like, hold on. That's not the Basketmobile. And I was
No,
like,
it's not.
oh, that's
No.
the
The
Basketmobile.
Basketmobile.
Where is it?
I said rip the Basketmobile.
Oh yeah, I think my dad went and picked it up because we did put it somewhere for sale, but I think he went and picked it up. I don't know what's happening with it now. I think I think he's still trying to sell it, but just not at that location.
Convert it and live in it.
Honestly,
Or if you give it to my sister, she'll drive it and total it for you.
She'll drive it into a Andy. I think she's got to drive something into the lake at some point now.
To the lake?
Yeah,
into the lake. Follow the GPS into the lake,
Yeah.
like the Office.
Office.
Michael Koipund.
Stanley is my spirit animal.
Okay, whatever that was.
It sounded like Darth Vader taking his helmet off.
Stanley Ofis is my spirit animal.
Office.
Pretzel day.
It's called hentai, and it's art.
It's called hentai. It's art.
How I told you guys how I live in a shipping container.
You have not.
You used to.
What? When? What?
Your apartment in Arizona, wasn't that technically an old shipping container?
No, not at all.
Didn't they have apartments there that were made out of shipping containers?
They
though?
did. Yeah, not where I
That doesn't
live.
mean he was living in one.
Oh.
Yeah, I think I sent it to
Oh,
you.
they had those in Paris.
Because those ones, it was literally just that was the whole thing. It was like you live in a shipping container. It was like recycling.
went
I did
to
not
a
live there.
Tiny House Festival. It was one of those.
But I live in a shipping container here at Berkeley, Lee Burke, if you will. And the reason why I found this out is because this room I live in, this building I live in is absolutely horribly confusing. In the basement, you can
There's
go.
a bunch of herring.
You can end up anywhere by going any direction. It's a fucking labyrinth. It makes zero sense.
Is there a minotaur that patrols it?
Yes.
Just
And
a big guy with a
it's so
stick.
confusing. So already
Guys,
the basement is
two tubers
confusing, but
like
then you
one.
move up a little bit onto like the main floors, like where you come in off the street, and those are like kind of confusing because there are many buildings connected. And then when I get up to my room, I don't look out to the street. I look into the inside of the building, and it's like a big circle, and I'm looking into that. And it's always been weird to me, and I don't understand where I am in relation to the street, to the rest of the building. I don't understand where we are. So one day I just came back from class, and I went over to the window, and I was just looking outside. It was a pretty nice day outside, and I was just kind of looking out there, and I said out loud, I was like, where the hell do we live? And my roommate was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I go, where is our room? And he goes, well, I still don't, what are you saying to me? And I go, where is our room in relation to anything else in this building? What are we looking at? And I pointed out the window, and we can see the roof of a part of the building. And I'm like, what are we looking down on? And it makes no sense. So
The peasants.
we were talking about it.
Folk.
All three of the people in my room were like talking about it, trying to figure out where the hell we live. Okay. And eventually we come to the realization that, oh, wait, the third floor has like some offices in it. And that's what we're looking down on. We're looking down on the third floor. So we run down to the third floor and we're like, oh, yeah, because we can go left out of the elevator. And before that would just lead us to jumping out of a window. But now it leads to like a lounge area. So then there's like windows of the lounge area that are like those cubes of glass that you can't see through that people like put like in like their showers and stuff. So that it lets light in, but it's not a real window. There's like those. And I was like, oh, so if we could see out of this, we could see up into our room. So now we know where we live in relation, we're knowing what we're looking at. And then under that is like the harmony department. And then under that is like the main floor. And so we figure out where the hell we live. We figure out what we're looking at, but we still don't know where we live in relation to the first floor, which I'd like to know. So what I do is I go to the freight elevator and I take like 8 to 5 steps, like just consistent marching steps, and I count 22 from the freight elevator door to our room. And then I go down to the first floor and I go to the freight elevator, put my back to it, take 22 steps, and then I point up and I go, this is where we live. And I figure that out. But on our way back up, I come back out on our floor and I turn to the left where I would be jumping out of a window, and I look, and I've been there before to like call my mom and like not bother my roommates. And it's usually at night. So I haven't really been able to see the windows of our room. I just know roughly where they are, but I was there during the daytime. And I look out and I realize we live in a fucking shipping container because the rest of the walls on this entire place are painted brick. It's just white brick, right? But where my 2 windows are, and then the 2 windows beyond me where our neighbors live, it looks like a freaking shipping container. It was so weird. So it turns out that at some point, I think probably when the school bought it, they were adding more rooms, and now my room is a freaking shipping container. It's really weird. I'm trying to find the picture so I can send it to you, but I didn't want to lose track of what I was saying.
Well, the thing that makes sense, Max, is since the Earth is flat and you point straight up, like you know exactly where your room is because there's no curvature to the Earth.
Were you interested in the conversation because your response was immediately, well, since the Earth is flat.
I'm paying attention. I take notes.
I'm paying attention.
I've tried to find
the
your
government.
building a few times, but
So it's 150 Mass Ave. And it's also connected to 136 and 130 and 142, apparently, I learned today. And 132, 130. It's like, it's ridiculous. It's very confusing.
oh, okay. So I've definitely passed this a ton of times.
Oh, a ton,
I just
yeah.
didn't know it was your building.
You've
Okay,
taken
yeah,
pictures of the sign out front, even. That's for the BPC, and the BPC.
Oh yeah, okay. So I was literally standing in front of it when I took the picture of the Berkeley sign.
Yeah, you were literally outside
Okay,
of my
yeah.
window, like outside of my front door. But the BPC is weird because it's like their main big venue, the Berkeley Performance Center, and to get to some classrooms, I go over the BPC, and then to get to some ensemble rooms, I go under the BPC. And like some of the studios are under the BPC, but I don't know exactly where it starts and where it ends. I just know I end up on the other side of it, and that's why it's so confusing. It's a whole thing. But I just sent you the picture. So those rooms there.
I understand what you're saying now.
I live in a shipping container. It's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
It looks like
So-
dystopian modern architecture, just gray stuff.
When we were in Paris, they had something like that, but not permanent. Like when they were renovating apartments or something. So what they did is they had these. It was like a matrix of shipping containers that they would put on stands over the sidewalk and street, outside the building, and then everyone would move their stuff into it and live in it, and then the apartment building would get renovated and whatnot, but they'd be living in like a shipping container connected.
So they didn't have to move out, I guess.
So they didn't have to move out, but they could renovate the buildings. And
That's
then
really
obviously
weird.
when they're done, you slide your shit back in, and then
It's
but,
kinda,
like,
it's kind of cool.
it was super cool. And I saw them and I was like, those don't look terrible. But I mean, they definitely don't look like the rest of Paris with like the old architecture and whatever.
Yeah.
People are thinking of Paris. They're definitely thinking more the Eiffel Tower and architecture and shipping containers.
I'm thinking Arby's.
I'm thinking Arby's.
It's
I'm thinking Eiffel Tower.
It's like when we were there, we never went to the business district, which is like the new fancy shit with like the glass skyscrapers and stuff. And that's over, it's like a mile or some away from like the old version of Paris.
I'm in a class that's European history from 1750 to 1950. And that's the full, actually, no, 1700 to 1950. That's what the full title is. And we've only been talking about France. And so I know I've listened to a lot of lectures about like the French Revolution. We just got up to Napoleon and how he like ended up becoming the like he's not the king, but he's the emperor or something like that. He didn't want to say
He was
king
Kangs.
because that would imply, because if he was king, that would imply that he was like he just has that position.
There was order.
But he called himself the emperor, and he held a vote to see who do you guys want to run the country, and then he basically rigged the vote so it'd be him. But then he could like have the excuse of, well, I'm an elected official, but really he just rigged it because he had the entire army to like just kill anybody that disagreed with him being the new leader.
If you ever have the chance, you
Really
gotta go
weird.
see Napoleon's tomb in Paris. It's super
Why?
cool. Cause it's like, it's in the middle of this huge building. It's also the International War Museum, I want to say is what its title is.
Okay, so
But
there's
it's
other
like-
things because I don't.
Yeah, there's other things there, but
because
it's like,
I hate when people are like, "Oh, you've got to see this thing," and it's like, okay,
Oh, yeah, no,
I
it's
could
super
literally just
cool.
Google search it right now and see a photo of it, and I'd get the same satisfaction as if I saw it in real life.
so I'll see if I can send a picture of it, but it doesn't really give this scale, but it's like a giant brown tomb thing, but it's like 20 feet tall.
Oh, holy shit. Yeah, that
It is bizarre.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I don't. Am I a psychopath? Well, don't answer that. Am I weird for like not caring to see things in real life?
I guess Donnie.
A little bit.
Oh, I died for a minute.
I mean, it depends. It depends on your perception of those kinds of things. Like whether
What are
you're-
you, Weird Max?
I don't
died.
like. I don't want to. I don't really care about seeing things in real life, like certain things. You know, like the Grand Canyon was cool, but also like there's so many
I
other
like-
things that people are like, "Oh, you got to see this," like the Leaning Tower of Pizza. I don't need to see that. And yes, I know I said it wrong.
I want to experience things that like aren't that you don't get just from seeing it. Like I'd like to go like into the Grand Canyon and do a tour down there.
There's more to
Like
just,
I think that would be cool.
Yeah, there's more
and
to
not just look at it, and be like, I'm at the canyon, bro.
It's more about experiencing the scale and what it actually looks like. A photograph can only do so much to display an image. Like there's a lot of like pieces of artwork where you actually
can only
see
do
them
1,000
in
words
real life.
worth of it.
It doesn't load that many chunks. Yeah, it like. But
Well, I know you're an art person,
yeah.
but with me, I feel like I get a better experience on the high res photos I can find online and look at.
Well,
And
you
look
get
at
you get a
paintings.
sense of
See,
scale
I
explained.
get
For
what you
some
mean,
things,
Max.
totally.
Who goes? Who's going?
I'll go. I get what you mean, Max, but the thing I don't understand that we've talked about before on here is just all the freaking tourists everywhere taking random pictures of
Oh, God.
stuff. Because it's like, okay, you could get a better photo
There's a
of
better
it
photo
online.
Yeah, I was about to say that same thing, which is why,
Yeah.
like, for some things, like the Mona Lisa, it's not even worth seeing in real life.
If I were to visit any like famous pieces of artwork, I would not want to visit the Mona Lisa or like Starry Night or anything. I'd want to
The
go to
Mona Lisa
Spain.
isn't even that cool. There
The
are
Mona
paintings.
Lisa-
There are
yeah.
paintings
The one
at the Louvre
behind
that
it's
are
cooler.
like 30 feet long and 20 feet tall. They're
There's-
huge.
Yeah, the one on the wall opposite is just fucking huge, and
There's-
nobody looks at
there's
it.
so
Those
many
are way more
cool-
impressive to
There's
me.
so many cool ones from like the Baroque era where there's so much like beautiful shit going on to represent everything. There's like I want to go to Spain and I want to see Francisco Goya's paintings because not many people talk about him all the time. And he's got some creepy ass paintings. I was gonna talk about that when you mentioned Napoleon because I'm taking an art theory class right now, and before we were talking about like iconography within paintings, and there's like 3 levels to it. The first just being like looking at an image, and like say you're like looking at a picture of like Jesus Christ on the cross. The like before that it'd just be a person nailed to a cross. The iconography would be that like that's Jesus Christ, and then there's iconology to it, which is like influences to said paintings on like the outside world, like politics and like what was in power and whatnot. And Francisco Goya has a shitload of stuff that's happened to him. He's got so many creepy paintings, and a lot of people have like determined like talking about it like in terms of his like he went deaf first of all, and then to talk about Napoleon, there was like a bunch of shit being ravaging in Spain with their government basically just not caring about themselves. So there's a lot of people like thinking like there's one painting in particular called Saturn Devouring His Son that I've been obsessed with, where it's a painting of the Greek god, of the story of the Greek god
I
Saturn.
think I've actually
where he would-
seen that.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking
I've
about.
sent it before because there have been some memes about it. Actually, there was one where it's Mr. Peanut devouring maybe Mr. Peanut.
Yeah.
Hold on, it's one of my
Yeah.
favorite paintings just because of how disturbing looking it is. There's a whole
Yeah,
video about it.
no, I think I watched like a YouTube video or something
Yeah,
at some
no,
point
I
about
got it from that video. Yeah,
Saturn
About
devouring
this
his
guy.
son. Yeah, it's this. Yeah.
yeah.
This,
I'll send
Yeah,
it.
it's
Just-
pretty
you guys
fucked.
seen it. Yeah.
Are you talking about that? But yeah, I was about to send that one.
It's
Yeah.
well the story as the story goes, like Saturn there's a prophecy where like Saturn learned that one of his children would usurp him as he did his children. So what he did was he would devour each of his children, and like in normal ones as it went he devoured them whole, and then they would still be alive and they would like be escaped like a Red
And
Red Riding Hood, like a wolf like eating the
I
grandma.
remember
they're
what
alive
happened
kind of thing.
actually.
What?
His wife hid one of the kids and replaced it with like a bundle of rocks, and then he ate a bunch of rocks and then puked them all up in reverse order.
The story,
Yeah.
with something like that and Zeus taking over, but just the way
Yeah.
it's done now, instead of it looking like an almighty god, it just looks like you found like a creepy ass looking
yeah,
guy.
like the proportions are so weird.
This
It
looks
like
like,
a
it's just
cave
really
painting.
cool.
yeah, it looks like you went into a cave and you turn on the flashlight and you found a scene you weren't supposed to find, and it's
Yeah.
just like a lot of people have associated it with like the idea of like almost like boomers like taking from millennials kind of thing, like but their equivalent of like the government constantly taking from the people and everything. It's part of what people called the black paintings, where he had a bunch of paintings mind you, he had a bunch of paintings that weren't meant to be seen by the public, where he painted these just on the walls. Like this would just be in the dining hall or like in the living room on the wall itself.
It's like the
it had to be
Sistine
removed.
Chapel.
Yeah, except it's fucking disturbing, and some of them are just.
What happened to the
Also,
first
I
15
looked-
chapels?
I looked. I don't know why this exists, but there's more.
Fuck you, man.
There's a backpack.
Yeah, I want it.
There's a backpack, but it's just like in comparison to other pieces of artwork that would represent it, there'd usually be some like beautiful like form to it, like. But this is just like it's just disturbing. So, I've been wanting to talk about that for a while because I've been obsessed with that painting because I haven't seen old time artwork that's disturbing. I always like parts of like horror.
It's
art that
always
haven't-
beautifying something or
yeah.
capturing a moment like when somebody's head got cut off.
What's really interesting about Goya is like before he used to make like kitschy like commission pieces, then like tapestries where it'd just be like common folk life, but then like everything just fell off when he went deaf and when the government started being dog shit. So there's art is neat.
So speaking of art, went to
I got
this
catfish.
museum in Paris. It was Musée d'Orsay, I think. It was an old train station. And there's just one picture, just walking around, pictures. Then on the wall, there's just a picture of a hairy cooter.
Elaborate.
No, like that's it. I'm trying to find it right now. Oh, I found it. It's awful. It's so uncomfy.
Oh my god.
All right, here you go. I think
That's all you have to say. Is
it was just like, why?
Oh.
Why is it there?
what? That's more zoomed out and realistic than I was expecting.
Me too.
I was
Yeah,
expecting an
no.
abstract something or other that was like just
I just wanted to
the
get a
general
better
shape
quality
of a.
Yeah, no, it looks
also,
like
yeah,
it's just a person.
that's just a yeah. Huh.
I mentioned on a podcast or two ago about when I was in New York and I was at the Whitney Art Museum, how the guy that was doing tours related everything to queer theory, right?
No,
Oh,
you
yeah,
did not
You
talk about
should,
that.
though.
Or not on the
Oh.
podcast, but
Oh, so the Whitney's like an American art museum, and I saw a lot of cool shit there. Like I saw some like original Andy Warhols and like original Jackson Pollock, like really iconic artwork.
There's a huge
Um,
Jackson Pollock like banner painting mural thingamajig in Boston, and every
And-
time I see it, I just look at it and I go, "Why am I not doing this?"
Yeah, but anyway, I was like as we were there, like there was a guy giving tours, and he honestly kind of looked like who's the therapist guy from
Dr.
Arrested
Phil.
Development? You know,
Fuck, I
the
should
guy
know.
who's a never nude in Arrested Development.
Oh, Ken Burns.
Yeah, him. So he looked kind of like him, like he had like shaved head and a mustache and glasses.
And jean shorts under his jeans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like talking about how everything involved queer theory, and he said that he was just pointing out quote unquote phallic references in all these paintings. Like there was one that was like a sculpture of a giant sandwich, and he's like, yeah, you see the toothpick sticking through that sandwich is very phallic, which really relates to queer theory. And I'm like, yeah, dude, every time I get a sandwich that's got a toothpick holding it together, my dick is hard as shit.
There's some
look at it and
legitimate
go, "This
representation
sandwich-
with iconography
Queer."
stuff, but that's when people
Like-
are just fucking stretching it.
The more like
That reminds me of when I went to the MFA and there was a painting that was like of two hills, and I looked at it for more than half a second. And I was like, "This is definitely supposed to look like tits, right?" And I with the person I was with, I pulled her over and I just pointed at it and I go, "That's definitely
I remember
boobs."
you telling us that story, but I just like the first painting I saw, like I heard him talk about. It was like this boxing painting, and it like I kind of understood what he meant by it. Like talking about how like it has like very masculine elements to it, but like there's almost some like endearment to like the men like in contact or whatever. And I understood what he meant by that. And then the more I heard him talk, I was like, dude, just stop talking about boners. Like
He sees what he wants to see.
Dude, like I didn't hear him talk about it, but there was one piece of art that's like a sculpture of a leg sticking out of a wall that just has a candle coming out of the knee. And I was like, dude, I just want to sit on that candle.
I just want to
me
give
try
that
and find
candle a
it.
good suck. Not gonna lie.
Okay, so anyway, so Max, going back to what you were saying about like you don't want to like see stuff because you can look at pictures.
Yeah.
Some stuff I like totally agree with. There's other things that like you can't see a picture for. Like a lot of nature stuff. Like just seeing a picture doesn't give the experience of
Yeah.
like the area and like the temperature and the sounds and whatever.
No, I get it. No, I
But like
well, that's why
a lot
I said
of paintings,
like, the
I totally
Grand
agree.
Canyon was wicked
Yeah.
cool to see.
Yeah.
But like
Okay.
with certain
Must not
things,
have
I'm
been
like,
paying
I don't need to go through the effort of doing that. Like
Yeah, like,
in
you
this
see,
in
now
this
that I've
history
seen
class
that knee,
that brought
I've
this
seen-
up, the whole thing with like he's said like a few times like, you know, if you ever get a chance to go to Europe, like you should see this thing. And I'm like, why would I don't know why I would need to see that. And also one time he said it, I leaned to the person next to me and I go, yes, for my I'll make sure to put that down for my on the checklist for one of my many trips to Europe.
Hey,
'Cause
here's the
can't
sandwich
go to
painting.
Syrup.
I'm linking it to you guys.
So he
How fast?
it's
It's a
literally just a toothpick coming out of an olive.
The piece
That's
is
a painting?
called No, it's a sculpture.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You
You
said
said painting,
painting.
and I was like,
Oh,
no
sorry.
fucking way.
Because if that was a
No.
painting, that's impressive. Because that literally looks like it's made out of like
That
what is
literally
it?
looks like a sculpture. Well, that might well.
Oh, yeah,
But
that's
that,
what I
like-
mean. Yeah, you know. Thank you for making
see
my
some-
sentence sound less dumb. And we
So-
should be wrapping it up pretty soon.
We should be wrapping it up. I got a couple topics that I'll bring up next week. Stay tuned for hearing the story of me getting catfished, but like not really catfished. I just say it's getting catfished.
Okay, I don't know if we answered this question or not earlier, but if you're on a website, it's a dating site for people who can do backflips, right? If I can't do a backflip, am I allowed to sign up to look for people who can?
I think so because I used to be on JDate because I wanted to date Jewish women.
But isn't it kind of catfishing? Because what if we go on a date and then on the first date they go, "Can you do a backflip?" And I go, "No, I really can't." You know,
they go, "Hey Max, I have a really cool secret idea for our first date," and you're like, "All right, cool." And she's like, "Welcome to backflip convention," and you're like, "Oh shit."
Welcome to Gator City, bro.
We should go. So yeah, you tell her we should go somewhere to practice, and she asks, "Where were you thinking?" I'm thinking, I don't know. I'm thinking Arby's. That's what you say.
I'm thinking backflip
I'm
McGee's.
thinking backflips.
I'm
And,
thinking,
and then she breaks up with
Arby's.
you instantly because why the fuck would you go to
Come on.
Arby's?
Because
Do
I
your
met her on
bonus.
arbysonly.com.
Oh, okay. I love me a nice roast beef sandwich.
Max, you propose to her. It's in a packet of barbecue sauce, and she pours it out, and the fucking ring comes out, and you're like,
Oh.
God damn.
Barbecue sauce.
I went to an Arby's when I was
Donnie,
visiting
get
my
outta here.
grandparents.
Why?
I don't know. My dad wanted a milkshake. And
That was the
grandfather got
only
a ro-
place.
It was the closest place, and my grandfather got a roast beef sandwich, and the meat was like just gray.
Oh no!
It looked
stop
like
it.
you know that episode of Fairly Odd Parents where all the
Yes.
people are gray blobs.
Yeah.
It was like that color.
I miss that show.
Fairly Odd Parents.
That's gonna blow
That's
the mic.
Sheen. Hey Jimmy, you ever seen the Fairy Godparents?
Oh,
Jimmy, why did you never wish for a huge cock in Jimmy Timmy Power Hour?
do you know the iconography behind Saturn devouring his son? Jimmy.
Carl, no one cares about art history.
More like art history, Carl. I want to see the Louvre.
More like I want to see the
And I
lewds.
want to see your nudes, Carl. Oh, Shane, please. Once it's not packed, the Mona Lisa is actually really beautiful.
Shane.
They
Okay, we're done.
They anamorph into each other. So guys, remember, don't forget to buy your Saturn devouring his son leggings, socks, backpack, and baby onesie. Good night, New York.
I'm baby.
And you're watching Disney Channel. Are we done?
Yeah, we're done.
Okay, cool.
And you're watching Disney Channel. Thank you. All right.